Hey friends! In this video I'm back with another pen and stationery haul, and as a lot of you already know, I do try to keep my new products together so that I can share them all at once. So these aren't all products that I purchased all like at one time or one shopping trip, and I actually filmed this a bit ago, so you may have seen some of these products used already over on Instagram if you follow me there at How to Hand Letter. But I am just going to get right into showing you what I got and some swatches and demonstrations of each of them. The first thing that I have are these Archer and Olive dot grid journals. If you saw my last bullet journal video, you saw a different one that I purchased, which was the older version of her journals. And then when she came out with these newer ones, I decided to just stock up on a few because I love them so much. And the main reason that I love them is because the pages are bright white, which I do prefer over the warm, like yellow toned pages that a lot of other journals have, but also because the pages are so thick. In my bullet journal for September, which I can link the blog post below where I shared that, I use watercolor on my pages, and not only did the pages not bleed, but I really couldn't see any shadows coming through the other side, which is pretty amazing for using watercolor in a notebook. So let me know if you want a more detailed review of these, but I am someone who does not like to have like shadows or bleed through on the other side of my journal pages, so these are perfect for me. And I decided that I'm going to use one of them to do swatches and keep track of the different packs of pens that I purchased, so that's what I'm using for today's video. The next thing that I purchased are these Koi coloring brush pens, and I know that I accidentally wrote watercolor brush pens on the top, but you usually find these under Koi coloring brush pens. And the reason that I got these is because so many of you have asked for a tutorial using these. I do have a pack that I've had for a long time and I have posted about on my blog, which I can leave a link for that below, but the pack that I already had was a grayscale pack, which I do think can be a little bit harder to see on camera, so I decided to grab a pack of colors so that I'm able to show different techniques using those. So let me know if you have any specific questions regarding these, and hopefully I will have that new tutorial up soon. The next pens that I have are these handmade modern brush pens, and these are actually from Target, and I believe they're a Target brand, but I could be wrong. I don't think I've seen them anywhere else though. I do typically shy away from buying store brand pens because I've just had some bad experiences with them, but I wanted to start testing out some more easily accessible and affordable pens for you all, since I know that's something that a lot of you are looking for. I would say that at first try, these are like a medium to large size brush pen, and they definitely have a firmer tip. One thing that I've noticed is that the longer I use and test different brush pens, I tend to prefer like a super bouncy and flexible brush tip. But I know that as a beginner, some of those are not very user-friendly, and I see your comments saying that sometimes you prefer something a little bit stiffer when you are first beginning and practicing. So I haven't tested these for too long, but at first try, I'd say that they do have a stiffer brush tip that's a little bit easier to control, so that might be something that you're interested in if that's what you're looking for. And I also really love the color of these. The next product that I have to show you are these Plum dual tip watercolor art pens. These actually were sent to me by the company as a gift to test out. This is not a sponsored video or anything like that. I just always try to mention when I get something as a gift so that you guys know that I didn't purchase it myself. These are dual tipped pen, where you have the brush pen on one side and then the bullet tip on the other. You can see in my demonstration that you can get varying thicknesses with this brush pen, but I would say again that this one is more on the stiff side, so you're not going to see a super flexible bounce with them. And that can mean that it can be more difficult to get the really thin upstrokes that some people are looking for. I absolutely do love the colors in this pack. They're bright, but they're not all primary colors, which you guys know if you have watched a lot of my videos that I tend to like more muted tones. So these are a really great middle ground without being like pastel completely. So I tried to blend this out a little bit because these are watercolor markers, and it honestly didn't really seem like the color was pulling out at all. So I just moved on and swatched the other side of the pen on the other side of the journal. And when I was done, I noticed that the watercolor blending actually dried really nicely. So I decided to test these out on actual watercolor paper and show you an example of what that looks like as well, since I didn't think I really gave it quite enough time to work the first try. So you're going to see some different techniques that I like to use with watercolor type of brush pens, and some of these even work with other brush pens like the Tombow. I have a whole video on Tombow techniques, so I will leave that video in the description box below, but I think that overall these dried really nicely and the colors just worked really nicely together. Here's that example I mentioned that dried in my notebook that looked a lot better than when I was first trying it. And then, like I said, I'm going to just test it out on some watercolor paper. As you can see, it's already blending a lot better. So here I'm just going to go through a few different techniques that I like to try with different pens like this and adding in the water brush. And like I said, I will leave a link in the description box below for some videos, at least one that has some more descriptions on how to do some of these different techniques if you are interested. The next product that I have to show you are these glazed gel pens. These are some that you may have seen me use recently if you follow me on Instagram. A while back I saw these from someone else on Instagram a few different times, and they eventually sucked me in and I had to try them. They say that they're a glossy 3D texture and that they dry shiny with a slight texture. In my opinion, it's almost like a lighter version of like a fake embossing, which is super fun. You do have to write pretty slowly to get the ink to come out really thick. Because you don't want to write quickly and then the ink just comes out fast and kind of thin. So I'm a slow writer, but I still had to concentrate to write just slow enough to get this to come out really thick. And then when it comes to hand lettering, I just think it's a good practice to write slowly, so it kind of works. You also don't want to touch them right away. You want to let them dry for a good while. So just make sure if you use these in your notebook, do not close your notebook right away because they may end up making kind of a mess. These are a pen that I think would probably bleed through pretty badly on most journals or thinner papers. I just didn't use a thinner paper, so just be aware of that if you do try them on a thinner paper. Since my journal pages are so thick, I didn't really notice that issue at all. You can use these on black or white paper. I suppose you can use them on any paper, but I'm going to show you on black and white paper here. But the colors do change pretty significantly depending on which paper you use, so you will see that in these examples. Also, please excuse my rough filming when I do the close-up section. I am 100% not a professional when it comes to filming, and I really just wanted to try and show you this close-up image so that you can see a bit of that texture. And I'm also going to put in that Instagram video that I mentioned earlier that I shared on Instagram so you can see another close-up angle of these pens in action. The next thing that I want to show you are these Marva Jitta color in markers. These are some favorites of mine, and I purchased a new pack because my other one was getting a bit dull and frayed, and I like to use these a lot. So whenever I use these, I get so many questions about them, and I'm going to try to just give you a quick version here. I usually purchase these on Amazon, but I have also found them at Michael's. I just try to make sure if I'm buying at a store that I find a coupon if they have one available, because I find that sometimes those stores have them a little bit more expensive than I can find on Amazon, especially if you use Amazon Prime where you get free shipping. So these are not dual-ended, and I have not tried the Plum, I think they're called, to compare them, but I do plan to do that soon because I know that you guys asked me that and how they're different, but I do plan to try those soon. I just have to purchase some of those. The reason that I love them is because the tips are super flexible and you can get a really nice variation in your stroke thickness. The colors are also so pretty and so bright. I love this Naturals pack, but I also have the Brights and the Pastels pack. There is a fourth pack that I haven't tried. I don't remember what it's called, but I have not tried that one. The Bright pack has a few of my other favorite colors in it. Sometimes the packs can have some similar colors, so that's kind of a bummer, but I still love them because I think the colors are so pretty. And I would recommend to use these on a smooth paper to help them not fray as quickly, and that's usually what I use outside of these swatches, and I like to use the HP Premium Choice LaserJet paper. So I think that's about it for the frequently asked questions when it comes to these markers, but if you have other ones specifically about these, leave them in the comments below and I'll try to get back to you. And if you've heard me talk about these a million times, it's because I just get a lot of questions about them when I use them. So I'm sorry if you're hearing that again, but hopefully that helps those of you who are wondering about these markers. The next product is one that I randomly picked up at Hobby Lobby because I have seen these from varying brands online and I've wanted to try them. This specific one that I got is from Creative Devotion brand, which I think is a Bible journaling brand, but I'm not sure if it's exclusive to Hobby Lobby or not. I have seen a lot of other brands carry this type of product as well though, and this is a gel highlighter and they have this creamy texture that doesn't bleed through the paper, so a lot of people really like to use these in their Bible journaling since they're such thin pages. These ones are actually labeled as well with different things to highlight, which I think is great if you don't already have a highlighting system, because it can be an easy reminder of which categories you do which colors with. I would love ones that are more of muted colors and not so bright and like highlighter colors. So if you've seen any of these in different colors, let me know in the comments below. I had already tested them out in my journal, but I didn't want to waste another page, so I just added the swatches next to them. And with both the one I did a while ago and the new one, I didn't have any smearing, so they do seem to dry pretty quickly. The next thing I wanted to show you are these zebra Mildliners. I have used these in the past, but I saw this pack at Target and decided to pick up another one so that I can store one in my office and then have another one that I use on the go. That probably sounds really weird, but I try to keep my sets together as much as I can so that when you guys have questions or when I do a video, like a review with them, that I can film the entire set. But there are some products, probably a lot more products than there should be, that I'm constantly taking from and using like in my everyday life, and then they totally get messed up. So I decided to just purchase another pack so that I can keep the two separate, and I know that I will still get a lot of use out of these. And the last thing I'm going to show you isn't a pen, but it's one of these date stamps. I also found this at Hobby Lobby with the gel highlighters, and I've been thinking it would be nice to have something like this for Bible journaling. I don't typically date like every page, but sometimes I do write the dates in there if it's something that's personal I'm writing about and I want to remember when that was, or something like that. And I just thought that this would be a neater way to do that. The easier way to use this is probably to use a stamp pad, but since I have so many brush markers, I didn't really want to spend money on one more thing, so I just decided to use a Zig Brushable for this one. But you'll see that it really didn't work very well the first time. I think that's because I was taking my time and making sure to like cover it all thoroughly and be really careful. So I think the ink kind of dried up a little bit before I was able to stamp it. So I tried it again, and I tried to just get it on there really quickly and then make sure the paper underneath was flat, and it worked a little bit better, so I'm sure I'll get the hang of it soon. So that is it for today's pen and stationery haul. Let me know if you have any other products that you want me to try out, or if there are any of these that you would like to see a full review of. If you are not already following me on Instagram, you can find me over there at How to Hand Letter, and be sure to subscribe for new videos like this one, hand lettering tutorials, and calligraphy and journaling videos. And again, I will put some links in the description box below for some things that I've mentioned for other videos or blog posts if I mention them here. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!